Hello, I'm Mike Egan. You are watching my 2021 Game of the Year countdown, outlining my top 10 video games of the year. Every year for the past couple of years, regardless of whatever else I've been working on, I've always written up a Game of the Year list that I've posted on my blog, and I'm still going to be doing that this year, but I also want to do something a little bit extra, a video series in several parts counting down my top 10 games of the year released in the lead up to the holidays, and that's what you're watching right now. So, without further ado, number 4 is Axiom Verge 2. Two Metroidvanias enter, only one can win, and in a year where we actually got a brand new Metroid game, Axiom Verge 2 still comes out on top for me. Following up on 2015's Axiom Verge with even more awe-inspiring pixel art, inventive gameplay mechanics, and a whole new world to break wide open, Axiom Verge 2 came as a surprise release after being delayed twice previously, and a surprise favorite for me, having fallen off of the first game all those years ago. If you never played, or like me, never finished the first Axiom Verge game, worry not. Axiom Verge 2 is something of a prequel to the first game, I think. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. If there's a story going on here, I truly could not explain it to you. And that's fine. In my experience, you don't come to an Axiom Verge game for the story. You do so because everything else is so tight and well designed. The world of Axiom Verge 2 is constructed like one big puzzle that needs solving. The whole map is one open, continuous 2D world, and you can run around the whole thing end to end from pretty early on if you like. But it won't divulge all of its secrets quite as easily. Short cutscenes with the few major characters set objective markers on your map, giving you a loose direction to aim for, but progress is anything but linear, and the path forward is not always laid bare for you. Rather, Axiom Verge 2 simply says, there's a thing over here that you need to get to move the game forward, and then just sets you loose on the world to figure it out for yourself. This quickly instilled in me a real feeling of ownership and familiarity with the game's world as I combed its every nook and cranny, and it never felt boring or like I was constantly butting up against dead ends, simply because there's just so much to do and see in Axiom Verge 2's wide world. Save points are peppered pretty generously throughout, which not only act as respawn points should you fall to one of the game's weird robot monsters, but you can also instantly teleport to any of the save points you've previously visited simply by selecting their icon on the map at any time. Therefore, even when you aren't discovering hidden items and upgrades, exploration always feels like progress. Having one big open world, as opposed to a more traditional Metroid-style world with sequestered areas connected by elevators and hallways, as was the case in the first Axiom Verge, plus the ability to fast travel at any time made it so much more enjoyable to pick away at the puzzle box. Whenever I got an inkling about something to discover in a certain area, I'd simply pop over, have a look around, and if I turned out to be wrong, I'd pop over to my next hunch. All of this, paired with the ability to set custom markers on your map at any time, plus the fact that the map is set on a rigid grid of XY coordinates, made for some of the best, most gratifying exploration I've yet experienced in a video game. This also ensured that things didn't grind to a halt in the end game when you've already seen just about everything, but still need to find that last 1 or 2%. The game's myriad powers, items, and upgrades are doled out at a pretty solid clip and naturally coincide with new ways of traversing and otherwise opening up the map, such that you're constantly having aha moments about how to get past that last obstacle you saw. But at the same time, no one power or item or upgrade ever felt like the thing that opened up the whole map to you. Again, cracking this world open like an egg and drinking deep from its yolk is a singularly satisfying video game experience that is not to be missed. Combat can be a bit of a slog, especially at first. The game starts you out with only a pickaxe to work with, meaning you'll have to get up close to engage any monsters you encounter. You'll quickly realize that you're better off avoiding bigger threats for the time being and playing around with your remote hacking mechanic to freeze foes in place or turn them into allies. If you do decide to play this game, and obviously I highly recommend that you do, just be aware that there's a bit of a trial by fire that you have to push through at the very beginning, but once you get over that little hump, you should be right at home. If you're thinking about going back and playing the first game before hopping into Axiom Verge 2, my recommendation is that you not do that. I went back and restarted Axiom Verge after finishing 2, and once again, I just couldn't stick with it. Now, this could have been for any number of outside factors, and maybe one day I will finish it and change my tune, but I really do feel like the sequel is where it's at, and you're not missing anything by skipping ahead. It's kind of hard to end this review because there's just so much for me to gush over. Like, the first time you lose your body and you get turned into a little bug drone thing, and you're like, oh man, I don't want to be a little bug drone thing. But then the little drone gets a grappling hook upgrade that feels better than anything else in the game up to that point. And then when you do get your body back, you're like, no, wait, I want to keep being a little bug drone. And then the game lets you be both. Axiom Verge 2 pulled me in like almost no other game this year, and I was always excited to jump back in and play a little bit more. It is one of the very few video games that I have ever 100% completed in both map exploration and item discovery. If I could wipe my brain and go back and play it again for the first time, I would. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for continuing to watch my 2021 Top 10 Game of the Year countdown. Stay tuned next time for number 3. We're getting into the top 3. This thing is almost done. Leave your predictions in the comments below, and I will see you tomorrow.